It wasn't long ago that this white-haired lady was operating a small motel and restaurant on the Niagara frontier, cooking meals, cleaning rooms, making beds. Then success came to her, and fame, and wealth. Prosperity arrived after Elsie Berger bred her standard-bred broodmare to a famous stallion in Pennsylvania. The union of her mare and the famous stallion resulted in the birth of a chocolate-colored pacing colt. This colt, his name was Niatross. From his earliest moments on Earth, Niatross showed promise. He was tall, healthy, had sleek lines, and moved cleaner and crisper than his pasture peers. Niatross showed so much promise, in fact, that the man destined to train him, a youngish veteran by the name of Clint Galbraith, asked Ms. Berger if he might purchase a share of the colt. But Berger, who had known Galbraith for years, who considered him almost a son, said no. He could not buy a portion of the horse. Instead, she said, Galbraith could have 50% of Niatross as a gift. And the trainer naturally accepted with gratitude. So Niatross, with Galbraith in the sulky, commenced his first year at the races. And what a year it was. He raced 13 times. He scored 13 victories. His fame grew quickly as viewers watched with awe his television appearances from coast to coast, winning races with purses ranging up to $860,000.
Is making that last drive. Here comes Denali. It's Niatross in front to the wire.
It's Niatross leading the way as he has in all 8 of his starts. Dorado Hanover, the Canadian champ, is coming at him.
And in his last race of the year, the $200,000 Kentucky Pacing Derby,
and Niatross has won again.
A wealthy man from New Jersey, Louis Gaida, an entrepreneur, a big-time syndicator of standard-bred horses, persuaded owners Berger and Galbraith to part with half their shares of Niatross at a cool $2.5 million, with another $1 million plus going to them if the colt met certain very high standards during the balance of his racing career. The period between Niatross's racing seasons as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old could not seem to pass quickly enough. Everyone, his caretaker, Marie Carson, his trainer-driver, other horsemen, harness fans around the world, and the horse himself waited impatiently for the season to get underway. And the powerful bay son of Elsie Berger's broodmare, Niagara Dream, and the potent stallion, Albatross, did not disappoint anyone, at least in the beginning. He won at Vernon Downs, he won at Brandywine Raceway, he won at Buffalo Raceway, and he won at Yonkers Raceway. But at Saratoga Harness in Saratoga Springs, New York, on July 5th, 1980, disaster fell, and so did Niatross. He wasn't himself that day. Something was wrong. Several of the horses in his race had already passed him when he suddenly tumbled over the inside hub rail and landed in a heap, with his ignominious fall from grace recorded by photographers and spread across the pages of newspapers throughout the world. Niatross was up quickly, unharmed but for a few minor bumps and bruises, and his trainer, within a couple of days, was convinced he had not been drugged, as some had charged, and that he was hale and healthy and ready to race again. Not that Mr. Galbraith was unconcerned, was not fretting. It might be best if the colt would race no more, that he be retired, syndicate spokesman said. The marriage of the Berger-Galbraith tandem and the Niatross stable, or syndicate, had soured, was on the rocks, and the feuding would grow worse as time wore on. Clint Galbraith, however, remained adamant His 1,000-pound baby was in perfect condition, was ready to win the Meadowlands Pace in New Jersey on July 18th.
Followed by Tyler B on the outside, Secret Service. Tyler B and Storm Damage, and they're following Niatross, and nobody's going to catch him. It's Niatross by 4, and he's going away. Niatross and Clint Galbraith, they win the 1980 Meadowlands Pace.
Galbraith, of course, was vindicated, but there was no time for gloating. The most prestigious race of the season was right around the corner. The Little Brown Jug Pacing Classic. Second jewel in pacing's Triple Crown for 3-year-olds. The race to win above all others. Jug traditionally draws the best sophomore pacers in North America, but only one of them was capable of luring 45,621 fans to a small fairground in rural Delaware, Ohio, on a Thursday afternoon. Niatross.
Are on the track for the 11th race. The first heat of the Little Brown Jug, a purse of $207,361, trophy by the Little Brown Jug Society. Ladies and gentlemen, the horses are approaching the gate for the 11th race. The first heat of the Little Brown Jug. From the rail out, Niatross, Trenton Time, Tyler B, Tammy's Man, Majestic Low Bell, Tyrant, Storm Damage, and Denali. 8 of the finest 3-year-old pacers in the sport of harness racing are all in behind the gate. The gate swings into the stretch, and here they come for the Little Brown Jug. Fan pacing, and it's Storm Damage charging out for the lead on the outside. Niatross at the rail. Trenton Time is third. Tyler B racing fourth. Around the turn, it's Niatross with the lead. As they race to the backstretch, Tammy's Man racing.
The crowd had come to see a wonder horse, and a wonder horse they saw.
Treading the field as they race to the backstretch and the 3/4 line. It's Niatross and Clint Galbraith on top of the field by 2 lengths. Trenton Time is second. Storm Damage parked on the outside third. The 3/4 mark as they race around the turn. The 3/4 in 1 at 26-3. At third quarter in 28-3. And opening up is Niatross by 4 lengths. Trenton Time second. Storm Damage third. Tyler B trying to find room as they come for the wire. It's Niatross drawing away from the field by 4 lengths to nearly are. The mile equaling the world's record, 1:55. The fastest heat in the history of the Little Brown Jug.
1 minute and 55 seconds, equaling the world record for pacers over a half-mile track. But you must win 2 heats on the afternoon to capture the Little Brown Jug. So an hour later, Niatross and his 7 foes returned to do battle a second time. Harness fans in the stands sensed the record would fall in the second heat, but it was doubtful. Rain the day before had slowed the track, and Clint Galbraith himself had promised no records.
No, I'm just racing to win, and the records can come later. I think when you start trying to set records, that's when you get yourself beat.
Still, Niatross was a champion. Many thought the greatest ever. And breath-stealing heroics were as natural to him as speech-making to a politician.
They're up and pacing, going for the lead. Niatross at the rail. Denali on the outside with a rush. Trenton Time down along the rail, third. Tyler B, fourth. Racing fifth at the rail as they race around the turn. Storm Damage up on the outside. Denali to take the lead. Niatross is second. Trenton Time third. Tyler B fourth. Storm Damage is fifth. Tammy's Man sixth at the rail. Racing seventh as they race down the back stretch. Tyrant. They race over to the quarter in 27 and 3. And Niatross and Clint Galbraith on the move on the outside to take the lead. Denali is second. Trenton Time third. Tyler B fourth. Storm Damage is fifth. Racing sixth. Tammy's Man. Tyrant goes to the outside seventh. Treading the field as they pass the stand of the first time. Majestic Low Bell. It's Niatross with the lead by 2 lengths at the halfway mark in 57 seconds. As they race into the turn, Denali is second. On the move on the outside, Tyler B now third. Trenton Time fourth. Storm Damage is on the move on the outside. Now fifth. Majestic Low Bell sixth. Tyrant 3 wide. Now sixth. Now fifth on the outside. Down the back stretch. Niatross. Tyler B on the outside. Storm Damage and Tyrant 3 wide. At the 3.
Despite Galbraith's warning to the contrary, the huge crowd that ringed the small track believed otherwise. They were sure that history was in the making as the mighty colt rounded the final bend and headed into the stretch.
Less than an eighth of a mile to go. Clint Galbraith looks over his shoulder. It's Niatross with the lead. Storm Damage on the outside. Tyler B third. It's Niatross winning the Little Brown Jug. Mile 1:54 and 4. A world's record.
For Niatross, it was clearly a case of how to succeed without really trying. The horse that was not to set a record had set a record. 1 minute, 54 and 4/5 as he thundered under the wire to become history's fastest pacer over a half-mile track. There was bedlam and joy, great joy, in the winner's circle as celebrities like Ohio's Governor Jim Rhodes rushed to congratulate Clint Galbraith, Elsie Berger, and their powerful pacing machine. And kisses, all kinds of kisses, were the order of the moment. Before the season was out, Niatross would win the messenger stake at Roosevelt to clinch the pacing Triple Crown. He would score wins on both coasts of the nation, and he would earn nearly $2 million, easily outdistancing the thoroughbred Star of Stars' spectacular bid. Could Clint Galbraith, could Elsie Berger, could the Niatross Syndicate, could anyone, anywhere, at any time, ask more of a horse? Could anyone ask more of a horse? Certainly, if that horse's name happened to be Niatross. On October 1st, 1980, at Lexington, Kentucky, the forces behind Niatross prevailed upon him to become the fastest horse in the long and noble history of harness racing. To do it, the colt had to time trial, to race against the clock, in less than 1 minute and 52 seconds flat. The record had been set by a fleet pacer named Steady Star, and it had withstood 9 years of furious efforts to beat it. It seemed an impossible assignment as Niatross circled the track with a pair of running horse prompters urging him on.
21 and 4, and Niatross is home in 49 1/5. You've seen it.
An incredible record. A new standard for the sport that should elude every horse competing in the foreseeable future.